Yay! All right, here we are together again in this amazing group. Hey, Barry, welcome. Let's just take a moment to put our hands on our hearts and welcome ourselves and call on our relationship to the planets and ask ourselves to deepen and connect and open to quantum understanding, a new understanding of the planets and who we are in relationship to them. And I was going to do a meditation right here, but I'm getting the guidance to just take a like 30 seconds each to say what anything about your relationships to the planets that how do you feel about the planets? Do you feel connected to them? Do they feel abstract? Is there a planet that's speaking to you? Just so we get a flavor of where we are with the planets. Did you want to add anything to that? Okay, hang on, let me pull up the timer here for a second. For some reason, I'm having technical challenges today. There we go. So if it's okay with you guys, would it be okay with you if I just call on you instead of taking time? Yeah, okay. Let me just get the 30 seconds up. Yeah, just what's here in relation to the planets. That gives Polly and I something to respond to. And we do have, thought for meditation, but we just want to hear from you first. Okay, Eloisa.
I would like to know specifically if Polly would be interested in talking about her experience as an astrologer, about how she worked with the planets, in terms of like whether you're open to the planet's higher energy or not. Like, how do you know? How do you approach a chart like that? I feel very close to to the planets.
Thank you, Eloisa. Deborah.
I have been really struck by how much I connected to the planets in the work this last month. How real their energy felt, some more than others, and sometimes the unconscious at least as much as the conscious. So yeah, and also feeling my sun, how powerful it is, and my Mars.
Yeah. Thank you, Deborah. Barbara.
Of the planet energies. I'm often struck during the transits that I seem to feel more of the essence of the Earth transit than the sun. Mm-hmm. And part of me wonders if that's because I need the grounding of the Earth more than the power of the sun. I don't know. Moon speaks to me. I have beautiful moon energy in my chart. Conscious moon is in 25, and there are 4 planets in gate 25 right now. So I'm a happy girl.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Barbara. Barry.
Hi, I have long been interested in and followed astrology and always struggled really. I would get readings and understand everything, but it really struggled with like remembering it. You know what I mean? So I would take it in and I'd have the experience of it, but I wouldn't really be able to integrate it into an understanding. And then right now, I'm really interested in how the planets are really affecting all of us in their movement around and big change and big shifts happening. And I have a relationship with my planets, but the transits are the place I'm connecting much more so than within my chart. And I would like to get better at understanding in my chart what's happening.
Thanks, Barry. Kelly Ruby.
I always enjoyed the planets for the different themes and being able to look at the gates. And I think it was upon first learning about the planets, that's when things started to, the complexity of what was presented in the chart started to make sense. And so I fell in love with the weave that I learned in learning more about the planets. So that's where I'm at with it.
Thank you, Kelly Ruby. Jean Vivi.
My pointer was pointing away. Our planet are very abstract. Like I still have what I learned when I was a kid. A planet out there. Then I studied Jyotish, astrology, 20 years ago. And but then they're different. Jupiter is more like Saturn here and stuff like that. So it's like I'm staying out of trying to make sense and wait for it to come from another place.
Perfect. Thank you, Jean Vivi.
Mm-hmm.
Karina.
Yeah, I love the planets. I hope you can hear me. I've been interested in the deeper facet that they provide. So again, like the themes. And I'm particularly fascinated by Mercury, which is about communication, what I'm here to express. Interested by Uranus too, which I understand is about uniqueness, but also the unexpected, because I love uniqueness and originality. And then Pluto, like where I'm here to have my biggest transformations. So those have been particularly catching my attention. And yeah, I love the planets.
Thank you, Karina and Cafe. Hilda.
Hello, everybody. I noticed that the more I'm reading about it and being with it, the more I experience that I know little about it, and it's also part of my chart. And I was puzzling around my conscious Mars, that is in 7.3, and I read something about the experiential leader. And yeah, I was thinking, I was resonating with it, that it's true that I'm quite often thrown into leadership without being ready. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Hilda. Roxanne.
Yeah, what strikes me about the planets is that they each have a gift for me, and it's like, they're in relationship with me, and I'm in relationship with them, but I don't really know them yet. They're new in my awareness, having just now learned about them. And I will say I've always had an affinity for the moon. What moves me, and my unconscious moon is in the gate of stillness. I really resonate with that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Roxanne. Cindy.
Yeah, I think there's so much more than I know that has been influencing me by the planets. And I believe I've really just scratched the surface. And I think there's just energy there that really speaks to me the more I uncover what the planets bring. I think the more I understand their influence, and it's taken me a while to get even to this point, but there's so much more. I mean, so much more.
Thank you, Cindy. Liar.
Let's see. I went to astrologer some time ago and was talking about my health and what should I do, what supplements. He said, no, none of that. What you need to do is propitiate the planets. And so it started this relationship with the planets that I don't exactly understand, but I sit outside in the early morning and I just look at the sky, it's still dark, and I feel the frequency of the planets are like it's an unknown, like there's a definitely help there. There's definitely communication going on. So
Thank you, Yar. Polly, you want to say anything about your relationship to the planets?
No, it was who was it?
Eloisa.
Eloisa asked about the astrology I used to do in a different and other lifetime. Um, the it was a computerized. I used a computerized chart, but it what it ended up being for me was that the name of my astrology business was The Sky Within. And I think that's even more obvious with human design than with astrology. We actually see a body graph with where these planets are, right? So I think it's very intimate and I think it's energetic. And I believe that our chart is always interacting with the quantum field, right? So this information from our chart, what we chose to incarnate energetically as and with, that is information into the quantum field. Now, when we have a wound, when we have a distortion in our own sense of ourselves, in our human design, say, or our astrology, then we are receiving from what looks like our external reality that at least as information. And the more that we take our lives as information instead of my life is against me, then the more facility, the more grace, the more ease we have with a shift in frequency, which is what all of this is about. But it's a beautiful, the intricacy of the design of incarnation is just pointed to with the planets. It's just pointed to with the chart, the human design chart, beautifully.
Thank you, Polly. If in case you didn't know, Polly lives outside of time. So that was 30 seconds for Polly.
Was that okay?
He was perfect. Oh, it's just perfect, Miss Polly. Okay, I'll take 30 seconds.
Okay.
When I think about the planets, it's like I feel into a vastness and like it's an on the one hand, it's an unknown, right? On the one hand, it's out there and it's unknown. On the other hand, it's in here and I'm just tapping. It's so hard to articulate. It's a felt sense of the unseen world, even though it's some of it's seen, anyway, blah blah. It's just feels so intimate. The planets feel so intimate to me, and an intimate relationship that I'm a little bit like Cindy, just in the process of discovery, continuous discovery.
I do think it's interesting because what you're pointing to is that our relationship with the planets is revealing to us our incarnational energy, as does human design, of course. But I think it gets more specific with the location and the planet.
So what you're saying, like in utero, and then again at the time of our birth, the planets are actually our part of our form body.
It's like that's the information that's going into the form body that will then be born. Yeah.
And are you guys getting that? Does that make sense? No, Very saying no. Like, so the time of your birth, that sun energy, and tomorrow's Yarrow's birthday. Let's just say happy birthday to Yarrow. So let's just use the gate 17 for a minute. So we've got gate 17 in the conscious sun. So anybody born right now, or what, 72 2 years ago, Yarrow? 72 years ago. Yeah. 73 years ago. It's hard to keep track at some point. 73 years ago, when she was born, the sun as her physical body, right? I forget what your unconscious sun is in 38, I think, or 39, one of those two. They actually create the structure, create the, it's like the 17 is emanating, the sun of the 17 is a continual emanation from that birth moment. Barry, is that making sense? It's like if you think of our chart and all these planets, it's like it's like we're walking emanations of these planets in these gates, something like that.
And like not to diminish human design, but like a pinball machine, right? Different ones are lit up, different ones are activated, but it's an information system. That's what I think is helpful to understand. It's information coming in through neutrinos from planets, from spaciousness, but all within the one I am. And that's the high bar. And that's the one when that settles in and you're living from that place, you have this feeling of the amazing how I started to say ominous, but I don't think that's the word I meant.
No, you don't say that.
Don't say that. But you have this place of magnanimity is what I would say, and this sense of it's like having a very specific palette out of which the art of living is expressed. Yeah.
So we're sitting back here as the I am.
Right.
And then you often say the avatar would be our chart, our
That's
physical
right.
body, and this planetary influences
Yeah.
moving through us.
And in that interaction with the quantum field, our reality arises. Because the view that we are always emitting into the quantum field is our human design.
So, okay, I'm just going to go off the books here for a second because I'm just getting a connection. I'm just picturing that we know the transits come and the planets are in different places, right? And we know in a connection chart, we're hooking up gates and channels and centers. But right now I'm picturing our planets hooking up with each other, kind of in the same way you would look at at a sextile or a,
Right,
opposition
yeah.
in astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody following me, or am I? Yeah. It's just, there's like this, oh my gosh, it's not just the gates. It's not just our definition. It's these planets that are Yarrow's sun hooking up with, yeah, Eloisa. Oh no, sorry, Cindy first.
So with the, in human design, we have the unconscious side and the conscious side. And so we speak a lot about the energy of the sun through our conscious side. So in astrology, I guess, how is the balance recognized, or is the balance recognized, or is the unconscious even recognized from that? I know that the blend of it obviously makes our incarnation cross, so that's huge, but I'm just curious. I'll stop and see what comes up for you guys.
It's a different template, and I don't think, just like you are pointing to Cindy, I don't think it's noted or at least in the study that I did, which is very primary and been some years ago. Like I said, it may be more seen or expressed or noted in Vedic astrology, but I don't know that system. When we see in our human design the unconscious sun, it can register for us that there's a consistent energy that it represents, right? Because this is a representational thing we're working with here. It represents frequencies, it represents energy, and they are design. The design is very specific as to how they get expressed. when we are our not self, when we are not freed into our true, our design, then we are likely distorting the way in which that position in our human design impacts the quantum field. So it gives us, instead of the fullness of that energetic informational system, it gives us a distorted experience of it. Maybe.
So for me, I guess I feel like it's about the merge of the two. It's about the blending of the two. That's what it feels like to me anyway. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Cindy. Well, human design does represent an occurrence in the neutrino field 3 months before,
Mhm.
3 months before the actual birth into this particular reality. So it's another level of information that I don't think is acknowledged anywhere else, as far as I know.
I think that's part of what makes human design so remarkable.
It's certainly one aspect that does, for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, Eloisa, thank you, Cindy.
I just wanted to thank you for that visual of us being walking transmissions of the planets. Um, and it reminded me of the Levy book,
Yes.
because, I think one of the things that I haven't finished the book, it's very dense, but when he says that all of us impact the soup,
Exactly.
but then we're given free will. So how the visual that I got was there is a responsibility in how I use my free will to make the transmission like a pure transmission, to be able to have the soup be a higher vibration. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the piece that it's not so much, it is of course about will, but the when we're in our not self configuration, when we are in a field of distortion through most often, and I can pretty much say always, out of our woundedness, which creates the lens through which we perceive reality, including our body mind, then we are participating in a way that keeps things limited, that keeps the way in which reality can show up in a distortion field. So when we come to embody and value, this is the beauty of human design, is the layered information of what I chose to come here to express as, and to honor that, and to experience it, and to there's a certain way in which the power of limits is very important, because it gives us a definition. It gives us a specific way in which we most correctly express, and honoring that, it's like we're coming home to ourselves, right? That's instead of being identifying with a limited personal identity, I call it the me or the ego. We know ourselves as this field, this energetic field that is participating in reality in a specific way. And what it begins to do, which it sounds to me like that's the direction, Eloisa, is what it begins to do is that it takes away the person, and it gives into the fullness of connection, expression, and contribution.
I love that. And I think of when I was listening to the book, certain gates came up as like important. Like when he talks about the importance of doubt, the importance of doubt in order to have mutation or have people. You have to doubt that you know everything in order to experience. So I was like, oh, the 63, there it is. And then when he talked about the importance of the mindset. And I thought, of like, of your contribution to the field is going to really be dependent on how healthy your mindset is. If you have a poor mindset, whatever planet you have there, if you have a poor mindset, that's the flavor that you're bringing into the field. And then now you just pointed out to 60, the power of limitations and how we do that. So I'm going to keep listening to the book. That was a good plug for the book.
But right.
So I just want to say, Eloisa, in response, like the responsibility, it's such a tricky thing. And I've really learned this a lot from you, Polly, like, that story of there are no others.
That's
like the
right.
responsibility is to ourselves.
That's right.
The responsibility to be in alignment is to ourselves, and then it overflows out to everybody else. But if we're doing it out there, we're entering the transactional field, we're doing something to get something, we're thinking something's not okay, should be different. We've gone into lack, we've stepped out of that living awake place and moved into, I'm a person, I need to help other people are we've done something in our mindset
Right.
that we all are in agreement with, but is wonky and off key.
That's right. And that's the collective issue that I think is really coming up now as the extremes expressed through the extreme polarity. The being a true nature here on your own behalf gives you the potency and the power to contribute energetically into the quantum field for a new reality. And until we've done the work here, most of the time people's engagement in the quote out there is an expression of their lack of self-regard or their wound. So if that's not cleaned up, then we're just participating in the distortion field that looks like life is hard, it looks like difficulty, it looks like politics, it looks like all of that. SHIT. Yes.
Yeah, just 1 second, Cindy. I just want to say that I did a piece of work with Polly yesterday. So yesterday? Wow. 10 years ago, yesterday. And I was looking at, where I get glitched up. And I went back to an early memory of, feeling like I'm a really good writer. I was in high school. I always thought I was a writer. I was born to be a writer, right? And I'd go to write and it'd be like pulling teeth. I'd be up all night. I'd be so distressed. My poor parents, it was a nightmare for me to write a paper. And Polly said, anytime you identify with a gift, you bring in the stick, you bring in the polarity. So, and anytime you're looking for a result, you're bringing in the polarity.
Right.
So in our work, in our relationships, in our lives, again, taking our paws off of the external, taking our paws off of results. Polly said, if I thought I had to have results with the people I work with, my job would really be a burden. It'd be really hard, So to come without and also it's controlling, it's manipulative.
Absolutely.
It's very manipulative to think we
concern
need
for results.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Eloise, if we have a concern for helping people, we are pulled in, it's like an undertow, we're pulled into a whole world of then there's a me that has to do something that has to, be the one or whatever gets activated. But I want to say it because it was so big for me yesterday, like, oh my gosh, right. If I come to this call without concern for results, if I teach the class tomorrow without concern for results, then I'm free to show up and let that flow through me. But if I have concern for the results, I'm imposing something on top of something in the quantum field that is way bigger than what I could conceive of. So.
Can I cut in here real quick, Cindy, just to give you props or praise? I showed up to the Q&A yesterday, and Yarrow, the 1718 boy, that's really rocking my boat right now. Big, strong energies, big, strong energies. And Cindy actually really helped me identify that it really was that. She invited me in a very Cindy beautiful way to pay attention to how I was speaking about my chart. because I had like she picked it up right away. It was the best 18 move you had, Cindy. Gate 18 move. And she just, she invited me to say, okay, well, you didn't say this, but listen to the way you're talking about your chart. And then Tina brought in the 1718 as having a lot of opinions about things that I could be doing better, which sounds a little bit like the stick you were talking about, Robin.
Yeah. And I love that you say that in terms of all of us learning human design, right? What's our self-talk? What are we telling? How are we making ourselves deficient rather than being in that space of not concerned for results, being in relationship to the field, letting it teach us and show us, not an idea of how we need to understand this, how we need all this information. One of the things Cindy pointed out to me, and I'll talk about it tomorrow, is, people are trying to get information, trying to go outside themselves. This whole training is about going inside. We're going inside to connect with the planets, going inside to connect with the information. That is the magic of what we're doing here, I think.
Yep.
Okay, Cindy. Thank you, Eloisa. Cindy, and then we're going to do this meditation on going inside and feeling the planets.
Yeah, I think this really kind of piggybacks on what you said, Robin, because I feel like, and maybe I don't know, but I feel like free will is kind of mysteriously set up like like we have choices, right? We have choices, but really ultimately do we? Because the free will then ultimately I feel like kind of becomes the surrender to what is within, and then understanding what's within and how do we connect to that piece. So that kind of speaks also to what you were saying. It's like the focus on how this is influencing what I was born here to do, and what the energy that I was born with. How do I access the highest vibration of that energy?
I was on a call with David Nagel the other day, Cindy, and he said, do you think you're the best? Do you walk around feeling like you're the best? Not from an ego place, but just knowing who you are. He says, plants and animals don't question that they're the best, but we question ourselves. If we're letting our chart have its life, each one of us is the best.
The only.
That too. Anyway, so I'm with you, Cindy, on that. Thank you. All right. Welcome, Heidi. Nice to have you. So what we'd like to do, what Polly and I talked about doing, and this is an experiment. You're in the experiment with us. We've never done this before, but what we'd like you to do is have your chart in front of you. Can everybody get your chart? And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the planets, and you're going to see where in your chart. So for Hilda, the sun, conscious sun, gate 40, right? We're going to do the conscious. So you're going to picture the sun energy emanating from that will center gate 40 gate, where it is on the chart, right? So we're going to first bring the chart into our own awareness as ourselves, our template, our blueprint here, beyond our physical body, right? It's beyond 3D. It's our galactic body. Let's just call it our galactic body. We're going into our galactic. We're doing a meditation on our galactic body. So we're going to picture that wherever our sun is in our chart, it emanating out from that gate. And I'll go through and I'll name the qualities of each planets to help keep reinforcing that and bringing that in from different places so that that can become solid. I know some of you have been using the Book of Lines. I'm going to ask you not to during the training. I just want to stick with the information we have and keep it simple and ground here. Later afterwards, you can go down more rabbit holes, but I really want you guys to get the from the material we've given, ground this information. So everybody have their chart? Yep. Okay. So let's just, first of all, just close your eyes for a moment and sense your arms and legs, sense your belly center. Feel where your sits bones are sitting on the chair. Just coming into presence with your physical body. Maybe smiling at yourself. And then imagining the body graph. I think someone, Richard read, someone called it the Buddha graph. Imagine the body graph inside of you. Not inside isn't quite the right word, but as your as a electromagnetic structure that is your avatar, is your blueprint. Just picture the defined centers. Just flash on your body graph. And from there, I just want you to imagine taking one step back into your I am, into your awake awareness. And we're going to witness this from that place, just to the best of your ability. There's no right or wrong here. And from that place, you're going to see which gate your son is in. I'm just going to name Polly's for her as we do this, which is 62. So you're going to see where in your chart, and that is your Ajna, where in your chart that gate is. And you're going to imagine the sun emanating from that gate in your chart, coming off that center. And just feel the whole world, the space in front of you, the space behind you, the space to the sides of you, above you and below you, emanating the quality of that gate. It's like lighting up the world with that gate. And just noticing, it's kind of like we're sniffing oils here or something. Just notice, how does that feel? Does that feel good? Is there resistance? Is there a trigger? What happens? Can you let yourself know as you witness that consistent energy that's part of your makeup filling the space? And just taking a breath and letting that go. And now shifting to your earth. Which gate is your earth in? Yours is in 61, coming off your head, going towards your Ajna. And imagining the earth in that gate. And imagining the ground, imagining the ground that gate is bringing to you and to the world. It's an emanation of ground coming through that gate energy, whatever that gate would be. Just the whole world is filled with this emanation of ground through that energy. Just noticing how you feel about that. Does that feel good? Are you able to feel that? Is there a trigger there? Does it feel, yeah, whatever it is, whatever's here, welcome whatever's here, just in curiosity, as Polly said, it's information. We're just gathering information about ourselves and our relationship to the planets, how they live through us. And just smiling at that gate, the center that that gate comes off of, and the planet that is emanating from that center in that gate. And then just taking a breath and letting that go. And now we come to the North Node. Your North Node is in 28, coming off the spleen. Yeah. Come to the North Node. And this is a little different. So I'm going to try to describe this. I'd like you to think of it as the space, you're emanating space. It's you're emanating here from that gate. If you're, I think most of us are in our North Nodes so far. Let me look at who's here. Yeah, I think we're, maybe not everybody, but if you're not, then that's where you're headed. Think of it like a neighborhood, or the air you're breathing, the lens you're looking out of from this North Node place. It's like the view. It's your view out into the world. You're looking through that lens out at the world, and you're curious about that quality, how people are living that quality, what they're doing with that quality. What are you doing with that quality? If we just look at Polly's chart in the North Node in 28, she's looking around and seeing where are the struggles, and how do we bring heaven to the struggles of the earth? How do we resolve these struggles? How do we come home? How do we evolve out of this struggle? That's the world that she inhabits, that she's looking through. What's a good struggle? Not working something at the level of the problem. Good struggle is to see what the source is and clear that conclusion. Just getting a sense of how this North Node occupies your life. And then shifting to the South Node, which is, oh, let's just take a breath and let that go. And shifting to the South Node and just thinking about those first 38 to 44 years of your life, whenever that Uranus opposition happened, and looking, if you're past that, looking back at that time, seeing where is that in your chart? Where is what for you, Polly? It's the 27 coming off the sacral, going towards the spleen. So that's a gate of nurturing, codependence. So look through that lens now and see wherever that is. What was the lens you were looking through during that period of your life? What did the world appear as? How did it show up for you? What were you interested in? What were you curious about? What were you seeing? You're seeing everything through that lens. Just noticing the center that comes off of, feeling the lens of that gate, the view from that gate, the atmosphere from that gate. Then just smiling at that South Node, taking a breath and letting that go, And we shift to the moon here. Your moon is in 45, coming off the throat center, going towards the will center. So looking, where is your moon? Where on your body graph is your moon? Witnessing that deep internal driving force, this potency that in every moment is there, whether it's hidden or shining, it's there. It's what's driving you. Just seeing the gate that the moon occupies, what center it comes off of, what the quality is of that energy that's driving you in your life. Are you comfortable with this energy? Are you triggered by this energy? Can you feel this drive filling the space? And taking a breath and letting that moon energy go. And shifting to Mercury, communication, you're in 7, which comes off the G center, going towards the throat. This is the chief of staff energy. So Mercury, where is it? Where is this desire to speak? What wants to be spoken? What do you want to learn about, hear about? Feeling that energy of speaking through this energy. What's important for you to say? It's important for you to hear. Feeling that Mercury emanating from that gate off that center. You can imagine it, well, you can look as an individual, tribal, collective. You can see who, who does that want to speak to? What's the like the highway it wants to move through, the portal your voice wants to be heard from. Pali talks about the power of limitations. If we can, for a moment, honor this Mercury's voice and the energy that is emanating from that gate. And taking a breath and letting that go. And shifting to Venus. Your Venus is in 52. It's the gate of stillness coming off the root, going towards the sacral. It's collective, logical energy. So tapping into your Venus, this Venus energy, just imagine Venus, the planet Venus on that gate and the energy of that gate emanating out of Venus, and thinking about Venus as what you value in life. What you value in life, if you're, especially if you're a woman, what you value in other women, what you value in the feminine in men. And just noticing your relationship to that energy. How comfortable are you with that? Are there triggers there? We're just kind of doing like a body scan here. You can come back and do this later and really spend time. If there's a planet, just be open. If there's a planet that lights up, that it's like, oh, I need to spend more time there. So we'll just keep going because we've got a couple more planets to go through here. So let's just smile and let that Venus energy pass through. and shift our attention to Mars. Where is Mars in your chart? Yours is in gate 60, coming off the root, going towards the sacral. It's individual circuitry. Now, imagine the planet Mars sitting in that gate, is how we would say it, inside that gate, emanating the energy of that gate. This is assertive energy. This is powerful energy. This is energy that that if you think of a young boy with testosterone who doesn't know how to manage his power, it's power. And we have to learn and mature how to use this energy skillfully. It's a beautiful energy when it's used in discernment. Otherwise, it can be a little bit out of control and can have a warlike, destructive quality to it. It's fierce, it's alive, it's dynamic, and it's what we value. If we're women, it's what we value in men. If we're men, it's what we value in ourselves, and it's also women valuing the masculine within themselves. So feel this strong Martian energy emanating through you, through that gate. And then just smiling and letting that go. And now we move to Jupiter. Your Jupiter is in 17, which is where the sun is right now, coming off the ajna, going towards the throat. So Jupiter, where is Jupiter in your chart? Picture that huge, ginormous outer planet. We're going to the slower moving planets here. This is an outer planet, takes a long time to transit. This is a place where we have blessings. We bring blessings in our life. Blessings come to us and we bring blessings. It's in a way, it's not exactly personal. It's one of those outer planets. So picturing Jupiter, this big expansive energy in that gate, and look at the center it's coming off of, and imagine that you are bringing blessings through this energy. It's just expanding and expanding and expanding. Whatever that gate is for you, it just the expansion and the openness that Jupiter can bring. Just seeing how that feels for you. And then taking a breath and letting that go. And we'll move to Saturn. Saturn is the spiritual teacher. Saturn is like the father figure. Saturn is responsibility. Your Saturn is in 3, coming off the sacral, going towards the root, connecting to the 60. It's mutation.
Yeah.
So picture Saturn, this very potent and wise. It's the guru, it's the spiritual teacher that doesn't want you to mess up, that wants to make sure you're on track. So feeling that energy of Saturn, and we say we get the blessings of Jupiter when we're on track with Saturn. So wherever your gate is, place your Saturn there in your chart and witness the power of Saturn through that energy, through that gate energy. And feel how there's a structure and there's a support for really flourishing. And I talk about responsibility. It's like there's an ownership of the energy. You go from like this kind of beginning top down with Saturn to becoming your own spiritual teacher, we could say, your own you embody that energy from a knowing place, a clear place. It's like a child growing up, we could say. You shift into the power of that Saturn structure. Saturn can put the brakes on things. So, you know, if you have if you have 34, if you have Saturn in 34, it's like, okay, what actions am I here to take? I have to be really clear on my actions. So whatever your Saturn is, wherever your Saturn is, it can slow the energy down of that gate, can pause it, can make you really take your time to be clear. To see how you are with Saturn, what your relationship is with Saturn. Feel the center that Saturn is coming off of. And letting that go, taking a breath and shifting to Chiron, which does not show up in your chart. You have 39. That's provocation. So, and it comes off the root center going towards emotional solar plexus. So looking at your Chiron, your wounded healer, again, like the nodes, this isn't exactly a planet. So just imagining the energy of the wounded healer. I think it's an asteroid. What is it?
It's an asteroid. Mhm.
Picture an asteroid in that gate, whether it's defined or not in your chart. It could be defined from another planet, but picture that there is an influence here of wounding through this energy, that there's been some kind of wounding in this energy of this gate that is here to call us, just like our triggers, to call us into healing. It's an invitation. I think Polly, you said, or somebody said recently that you thought it was a karmic part of our karmic wounding
Mhm.
that we bring in.
Mhm.
So if you think of this with complete compassion about
Totally.
the karmic wounding that you might have in Chiron, and just hold it, you know, from that I am awake awareness place, hold it and be curious about what the gift of this wounding is for you that you then bring to humanity as you heal this piece. And then letting that go. We're on the home stretch here, coming to Uranus. Your Uranus is in 23, coming off the throat, going towards the ajna. It's the freak genius
Mhm.
channel. And checking in with where that is in your chart and placing that planet, just imagining that planet is emanating through that gate, coming off that center, emanating out into the world. This is, again, one of the outer planets, so it's surprising, unusual. There's a transformational aspect to it. It breaks up the structures that we've relied on and brings something new. It's like creates the chaos for the next highest level of order. So feeling into your gate and its quality that is offering to the world and bringing to yourself a kind of topsy-turvy, turning the world upside down, shaking things up. Yeah, messing with the order that is, messing with the order that appears. And just seeing, you know, just again, you can go back and do this meditation and just think about, look at, where has this happened in my life through this energy? How does this show up? And just smiling and taking a breath and letting that go. Now we come to our spiritual path. We come to Neptune. So your Neptune is in gate 47, the mindset gate. It's coming off the ajna, going towards the head center. It's right brain energy. So placing Neptune, this beautiful planet Neptune, in your chart inside that gate, and connecting to the center, whatever center that is, and feeling the emanation of Neptune, your spiritual path. It's like shining the light out into the world. It's a foggy light. It's a bit of a foggy light. You kind of have to find your way with it. It's there's a kind of a mystery and unfolding. You can't know the end of it. It's an in process kind of energy. And as you meet this energy, it's like life is revealed to you. You know, and it's like you think of a spiral, you know, you is that quote someone said, same devil, new level. It's like we're meeting over and over, we're meeting our obstacles, we're meeting what's in our way of knowing ourselves as that awake awareness that we are. And this spiritual path that through this gate is the pathway of meeting ourselves and coming to know the truth of who we are. So smiling at that, appreciating Neptune's force in our life, taking a breath and letting that go, and coming to Pluto. Yours is in 56. It's off the throat center going towards the ajna. It's the storyteller. So seeing where Pluto is in your chart and placing that, this is like the outer planet. This is the slowest moving planet. It has a very long life. So this is a planet of transformation, both of ourselves and the people around us. So putting Pluto in that place in your chart and feeling the emanation. For Pali as a storyteller, she transforms her life from what story she's telling and the people's lives around her by the stories she tells. So this energy is not just for you, it's for the world. It's your thumbprint of the portal of transformation that you're bringing to humanity, and you are part of that. So just feeling what that brings for you, what that opens for you, how that is for you as you imagine your Pluto is filling all space, all time, all space, bringing this quality of transformation, like deep transformation, right? It's lasting transformation. It's not superficial at all. This is life and death transformation. And just smiling and letting that go. And before we stop, I want to just take a moment and just imagine all these planets all over your chart. Right? Just in the best you can, just in your mind's eye, just like, you know, we can map this more over time. But for now, just imagine these planets. Here you are, you're standing back in your awake awareness, and you're witnessing this body graph with these planets beaming out, transmitting these energies through these gates. And now, as you do that, just in the same way we feel the transits impacting us, feel how these planets in your gates impact each person that you meet. Not just your gates, but the planets in the gates. And the people you meet, their planets in their gates are impacting you. Just let yourself have a momentary quantum trip out here as we think of all those connections and all that influence, and wow, it's kind of incomprehensible, and just let it be incomprehensible. And just putting our hands on our hearts, maybe a hand on our belly, and just appreciating the journey we just took, knowing that it was just a first approximation, and it's there for us if it speaks to us to come back and play with the planets within us, within our charts, sensing our arms and legs, sensing our belly center, and opening our eyes as we're ready. Whew. All right. That was a journey, guys. I don't know if we lost anybody on that. um, any thoughts?
No, it became clearer to me the way in which the human design for each one of us is information into the quantum field. And so there's when we are living from our design, we're at the highest potential for our, as viewed so appears, as we are living from our design, like with the specificity of those planets and the energy there, and they're not denied, or they're not impacted by a woundedness, then the information that we naturally emit into the quantum field is the highest potentiality, the highest possibility for our reality to arise, because that's how it works. As viewed, so appears. And the view, if it's from our human design, received and honored by us, appreciated by us, then the field starts to respond to that. And I think that that would be, and I find it to be true for myself, that that's the most deeply satisfying possibility in this incarnational experience.
The deeply satisfying to have the planets move through, have the flow through.
Right. And for your receiving, like we just did, honoring, receiving, acknowledging, and owning that these are the locations of my planets. It's funny when you talk about the 57, the storyteller.
56, yeah.
56. When I was in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher wrote a poem about me and all the stories that I tell.
Wow.
So it's, we come in with this, with the power of limits, I call it, because it's specific, and it is energetic information into the quantum field. So the more that we're aligned with it, and loving what is, it's like loving that because this was a choice. This was not an imposition on you incarnate and you live through this design. No, it was like, this is what I want my expression in this experience of incarnation to be shaped by.
It's interesting because you have 60 power of limits, we could say.
Mm.
You have Mars in 60.
Mm.
So you're you're bringing this strong energy to us. Hey guys, there's a power in limitation. Our chart is a limit, and it gives us power.
Exactly.
Where our planets are is a limit for each one of us, and it gives us power. Like, this is our gift.
That's right.
Where our planets are in our chart is our gift. What gates our planets are in is our gift.
That's right. And when the wound occurs, then that's what limits our appreciation, our connection, our acknowledgement of that gift. So we get wounded as a person, right? I don't, I'm not a good storyteller, say, for me, or we have these shutdown places. And when we acknowledge, receive, open up to this perfect design, and to have the fun and the freedom that comes from knowing that that's our personal information into the quantum field, and that we're all doing this together in a way. But it's such a freeing up of self-judgment. Yeah.
So I see we have about 16 minutes left, and I would like to hear from you guys. I'm wondering how if like another 30-second round each, just to share what your experience is, if you guys would be up for that, if that would be a good use of our time. I like people to have their voice,
Yes.
and and we learn from each other, right? Polly and I have been
Totally.
taking up all the airspace. So let's do that. And you okay if I call on you again? Would that be okay?
Our experience is with
With what we just did with the
Okay.
meditation,
The
really,
planets.
yeah, with the planets, what happened there?
Okay.
Because there's a place we can go with this, we can take this. Yeah, Roxanne, why don't you start?
Okay. What I found was interesting was that both my conscious sun and my conscious earth are in the root center. So it was, I hadn't considered that before. So this was really, really neat for me, to like imagine both the sun shining out and the earth grounding me, both from the same root center. And so it really added richness for me to do this. So thank you.
Very cool. Thank you, Roxanne. Barbara? No, not yet?
Okay.
Oh, no, hang on. Barry?
I absolutely loved that. And it just, maybe I'm right where I'm supposed to be, but it just like pulled so much together. I was, like I said in the beginning, having trouble connecting my planets to my gates in a, other than at a one at a time basis. And it just painted this beautiful picture. And I can't wait to write it after this. It just was beautiful. And I kind of wish I had been through that kind of a process before. I don't know if that would have helped me to have done that before, but I'm doing it right when I'm supposed to. So thank you.
We're all in this together, baby.
Yeah.
We're all getting it at the same time. This next group called it in. Let's just say that. Eloisa?
I think the biggest experience for me was the 20, which is my conscious sun. And it just said, I don't know, like it said, why are you focusing on the 34? Right? So the 34 has been running my life. And then the 20 just was like, bam, like here I am. That was cool.
That's awesome. Thank you, Eloisa. Kelly Ruby?
Have to find my mouse or my cursor. My experience of that was I have a greater appreciation of my gate 4 in my conscious Mercury. And the path I'm on right now with my learning, kind of grounding why I'm doing what I'm doing and my overall need for understanding answers in a different way.
Thank you, Kelly Ruby. Heidi?
Yeah, this was great. I had a big wow here. I didn't realize, or I haven't connected with that. I have 63. My conscious Earth is in gate 63, and it's also in my unconscious Jupiter. And both the Earth supporting and the blessing of Jupiter with my mind, I realized that in the journey, it's going to just take a couple seconds more for me to say this statement. In the journey in the work with Polly, I have been antagonistic with my mind, trying to like get my, and I realize it's a blessing, and it was a big shift for me to be like, oh, I could embrace my mind. This is not the enemy. So thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. Wow. Jean-Vivi.
Here we go. Well, I noticed my Earth and my Mars are in the same planet, in the same gates, yin and yang in 44, alertness, saying patterns. And so I say, no wonder I've cherished that non-binary identification to have yin and yang together, and observing what patterns come out of that. It's like, yeah, okay.
Thank you, Jean-Vivi. Hilda.
I knew you were saying my name. I felt it. I love this exercise as well. I loved the fluidity and the integration, and it made me realize that my 6 in Mercury, so communication, and also my Venus and my values are both in like the peacemaker or conflict, and it gave me some more depth in it. So I'm really grateful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hilda. Deborah.
I was feeling pretty overwhelmed in a good way by the experience, and I'm pretty good at visualizing, so I was often just sort of literally visualizing the planets. But I was also figuring out, okay, where are they? But one thing that caught my eye, ear, sense was the connection between my Saturn, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are all right there together between the ajna and the throat. And there's a channel between 17 and 62 between Mars and Saturn. And I just felt the power of that combination.
Right. I love that you said that. That brings in a whole nother thing, right? We didn't really talk about what happens in our channels and how do these planets come together in our channels. It's like, woohoo, another dimension. Beautiful. Thank you, Deborah. Cindy.
Yeah, well, the meditation started out, obviously with the sun, the earth, north node and south node, and mine are 64, 63, 64, 63. So as I was visualizing all of this going on, like right here, it was like suddenly really clear that, that's where I have been like stuck and kind of felt unable to get to the rest of me. So it was kind of interesting to see all of that energy. But as we went down the meditation, down the planets, it was really cool to kind of feel into the rest of my body. So yeah, I loved it.
Cool. Thank you, Cindy. Yar.
Well, I was just really appreciating this gate 17 in my son. It felt like there was some luminosity in it. I can't quite understand. It was the experience of just this movement of opinions, and I don't know. It was just really, and I really do want to sit through it all, but it was lovely.
Thank you, Yar. Barbara.
Thank you. This was a big wow for me, all the way through, but different nuances all the way through. And starting off just with the sun, strong message about honoring this energy and just being with it, holding it, emanating it, honoring it. And that was really powerful. And then the earth in 34. I went back to my comment in the beginning about resonating more with earth energy and needing to be grounded. And I know I've not fully tapped into the power of that 34. And that was just so clear right now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Karina, are you available to share? I'm looking into the abyss of Karina.
She's got a message in the chat, Robin.
What's
Yeah,
it
she
say?
got the chat. She can't speak now.
Okay. All right.
No, she has a share.
She has a
She
share, yeah.
says,
Okay,
my share.
I'll read
Oh,
it. My share is that I hadn't seen how many of my conscious planets are in my root and head. Then I saw a link to explore between my Mercury in gate 25 and Venus in gate 55. Wow, which seems significant. I love this exercise. Thank you. Also curious about gate 38 energy, prominent in North Node and Mars, and how it links with Mercury and Venus. Yeah, so you see, it starts to get the weave start. It calls forth the weave.
Right.
It calls forth the weave. Yeah, I think we got everybody, right? I'll take a turn here. I just feel like I feel so emotional. I feel like the planets are jewels. Like they're these shining jewels.
Termites.
Yeah, they're each one of them, they're just like this jewel box. Like each one of us is this jewel box with these jewels. And I feel so like in love. It's kind of like looking at the night sky and just loving it. I feel like looking at the inner sky and just loving it. And it's not personal, right? From that awake awareness, it's not personal. It's just looking at the sky, who we are, each one of us. So I found it very cool myself. So thank you all. All right, 4 minutes left. Anything you want to say?
No, if anybody's got a trigger they want to work, we can do that.
In 4 minutes? So our idea was, which we didn't get to, was to see, and I want you guys to take this on.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Our idea was to see if there was a trigger brought up from any of those planets, something, and use that as an access point, to get to the jewel, to open more deeply to ourselves. So that could be a homework.
Yeah.
That could be a homework.
she's just going to have to come back tomorrow.
She's not coming back tomorrow.
Dang.
Yeah, she's not coming back tomorrow. Okay, so let's just take a moment and put our hands on our hearts and just again appreciate these jeweled planetary bodies that are quantum bodies that are emanating these lights. It's like the external and the internal planets are in conversation with each other in a kind of a like tuning forks harmonies and just the aliveness of the internal and the external. Yeah, it just gets quantum upon quantum here. So just appreciating who we are as we are. And just seeing, what is your takeaway today? Is there a takeaway? Something you'd like to anchor? And go ahead when you've got that and put it in chat, just so we can all hold it. And it's a jewel for each one of us. What each one of us speaks, what we're taking away, what we're realizing. It's not for us alone. It's for everyone who's here and everyone who listens to this video. Just take a moment and see. Yeah, Barry would love to do the same with the unconscious gates. Heidi says, befriend my mind. Barry, I can look at my incarnation cross in a whole new light. Yeah, so next month we're doing incarnation crosses, so we can really work this at a new level. Yeah, we can really play with this. And we can play with it. We can bring the lines in. We can keep enriching and deepening this. Eloisa, there is power in limitations, right? Deborah, observing my inner sky from my awake awareness. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful? The planets are alive in me. Cindy, Kelly Ruby. I can't even begin to know yet. Now, that's a good answer. Feel loved by the planets, Yarrow. Is that beautiful or what? And that's your medicine.
Exactly.
You know, that was like 35 or 40 years ago that we had that reading with that guy. And we, you know, yeah, very, no, not the lines. Karina, how my values connect to what I'm here to communicate. Wow,
Oh,
Karina, that's great. Barbara, honor the energies that I chose to come in with. Whoa,
Yes.
that is good. That is really good. Jean-Vivi, connect to planets at sunrise like Yarrow. Yeah. Hilda, when I identify with a strength, I bring in my polarity as well. Right. You can't identify as it, right?
That's right.
You allow
Have
it, you have it,
Yeah.
and you're not attached to the result that it brings. You're not using it as a function, right? You're not taking it as a transaction. So powerful. You guys, we're really doing some wild work here.
Truly.
It's
Yeah.
it's cray. It's really cray. Okay. Thank you all. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow, most of you. And again, happy birthday, Yarrow. She won't be with us tomorrow, so we're just sending you and your gate 17 blessings upon blessings. And love you guys. Thank you, Polly.
Thank you, sweetheart. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thanks, Polly. Thanks,
Thank
Robin.
you.
That was awesome. Bye,
Happy
everybody.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Yarrow.
Okay. Bye, Jean-Bibi. Bye, Karina.